Hello fellow data friends. Patch 1.8.6 will stay for a while, so it's time to compare AI mods. If you're just interested in the results, there is a timestamp for you. The baseline will be vanilla on patch 1.8.6. The AI GDP on 1.8.2 was a lot lower than 1.7, so let's see how vanilla performs. Next up is Kuromi's AI. I used the version uploaded on the 19th of December. And last is Smarter AI with the version from the 13th December. I did 5 time lapses each and tracked the global GDP. I use global GDP because that is less affected by the performance of a single country or changing borders. I color coded the time lapses. Vanilla is blue, Kuromi is red, and Smarter AI is green. By the way, I'm not aware of any other up-to-date AI mods. If you know one, please leave a comment. This is the best Smarter AI world. Enjoy! Looks like we got a clear ranking. Both mods provide substantial increases in GDP, but Smarter AI is winning in terms of raw GDP. Let's plot the mean GDP over the full time span. Smarter AI immediately pulls ahead. After maybe 1900, the GDP growth slows down a bit, which is in line with the testing pattern of the model. Also, Kuromi's AI starts to pick up steam and is closing the gap after 1900. Let's compare this to the result of 1.7. You can notice two things immediately. At first, the vanilla GDP levels are roughly similar again. 1.8.6 is about 300,000 GDP lower, but it's close again. And of course, the big improvement for Smarter AI. You can see a similar pattern of having a good start and a weaker endgame, but the endgame improved as well. You can also see improvements for Kuromi's AI. He gets about 200,000 more GDP, and combined with the lower vanilla GDP, Kuromi's performance increased by about $500 million relative to vanilla. But of course, it's only 5 time-lapses, right? How reliable are these results? So let's tweak the graph a bit. The colored areas show the maximum and the minimum global GDP over all 5 time-lapses for each month. So a single time-lapse can be about 10% above or below the mean result. There is some overlap between Smarter AI and Kuromi's AI towards the end. Given the distances and the spread, especially compared to vanilla, I am confident about the ranking and the vast improvements these mods provide. The exact increase in GDP is up to debate. Let's talk about some important unifications or explosions. I always looked at the state of the world in 1940. You can expect some form of German unification in all versions. One vanilla time-lapse even managed to form Super Germany. Italy seems to form less often than Germany. And especially in Kuromi's AI, you will very likely see a Scandinavian unification. There was no Scandinavia in my Smarter AI runs, probably because the Nordic states were often subjugated by Russia. China was rather stable. They often lost territory, but they never exploded. But you can occasionally see an independent and exploded India. I never saw a unified, independent India. And in most cases, you will see a unified USA. I think that these numbers here are especially affected by sample size, but they should still give you an idea what you can expect. I also tracked the runtime of each timelapse. Kuromi runs only a bit slower than vanilla, while Smarter AI is taking noticeably longer. Kuromi's AI takes a bit longer until it really takes off, while Smarter AI starts very strong. This bigger economy early on probably has compounding effects. Also, the mod size for Smarter AI is bigger, so there are likely more computations needed for Smarter AI. Last but not least, we will quickly look through the best time-lapses from Kuromi and Smarter AI. At first for Kuromi. Here's the GDP ranking. Britain got almost 1 billion GDP, and most great powers have at least a decent GDP. There was no unification in Germany or Italy, but we got Scandinavia and Iberia. Britain has about 1,100 units and a power projection of almost 50,000. Russia comes second with 670 units and 28,000 power projection. Africa looks a bit messy, but it's mostly divided by Britain, France and Iberia. Noticeably, Britain holds a lot of territory in India and China directly. And we have a juicy USA in Northern America. South America looks like its usual self. We have a lot of power blocks, but several power blocks chose black as a color. That is not a single black power block. Time for the best Smarter AI run. Here's the leaderboard, and for some reason I cannot change the order. We don't have a single massive leader like in the Kuromi time-lapse, but several nations are either close or above $500 million GDP. We have a German Empire and a unified Italy. Scandinavia was puppeted by Russia, and Russia freed Constantinople. Britain got 445 units with a power projection of 33,000, but Britain has only the second strongest military. The military leader is this massive United States with 745 units and 50,000 power projection. Africa is mostly divided by Britain and France. In patch 1.7, Smarter AI had some trouble with colonization. Central Africa was usually uncolonized. That was fixed. Asia actually looks kind of normal in this timelapse. I don't see anything weird. Northern America is dominated by the USA. There are some weird mini-states, but apart from that, it looks good. South America looks almost tame for a Smarter AI run. Brazil will often conquer a lot of South America, like in this other timelapse. But Smarter AI still does not like power blocks. France, Germany and this big USA not having power blocks is a bit weird. But hey, you get a lot of AI GDP in exchange. In conclusion, Both mods offer a big economic increase for the AI, but there are some key differences. Smarter AI offers the best GDP improvement, especially in the early game. Kuromi offers a substantial GDP improvement, but the strongest effect comes in the late game after 1900. Smarter AI runs noticeably slower than vanilla, but in return you get the economic increase a lot sooner. But you might not even notice the slower runtime of 5% from Kuromi's mod. This is just a feeling, but the smarter AI seems to be more aggressive, while Kuromi's AI feels a bit closer to vanilla. But again, just a feeling. Armed with his knowledge, enjoy playing with these AI mods. If you want to learn about the hidden experience system for generals, click on the video at the top. Thanks a lot for watching, and I see you on the next one.